guys, welcome to my channel. My name is ReadingBear and I hope you are ready for some more stories. And today, we'll take a look at some new entitled people content. If you enjoyed my content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and post some bear emojis in the comment. And now, let's dive right into the stories.
The first story is titled "A Crazy Mom Screams at Me for Not Helping Out in the ED When I Am Not a Part of the Emergency Team or Work There." Hi. I am a 28-year-old doctor and my specialty is in clinical chemistry, chemical pathology, biochemistry, and laboratory medicine, so I usually do not interact with patients much anymore. This happened during my specialization training and it still makes me shake my head. My colleague and friend in another department suddenly developed seizures in the middle of the night. Her husband contacted me as I often helped her before they were married, and I was taking a midnight stroll in the campus as I was on call for the lab. I went to emergency and got all her papers ready. My junior from my alma mater was studying emergency medicine and she helped expedite things. My friend arrived the same time another family involved in an accident arrived. Since my friend was still seizing, my junior asked if I could place an IV for the time being because they needed to look at the family involved in the accident while the neurologist arrived. No problem. The ED was extremely busy and I was ready to help. I did everything for my friend as one of the nursing officers handed me the anti-epileptic drug while her husband, also a doctor but in another hospital, stayed by to make sure she is comfortable. That was when suddenly the ED went dark and the beeping got annoying. JK. This mother, crazy mother CM, tapped on my shoulder. CM, hi, can you help me? Me. Hi, sorry. I am not an ED doctor but I can guide you to whom you should see. CM. Aren't you a doctor? Me. Yes, but I am not a part of the ED. I am here for my friend. CM. So? Since you helped your friend, can you take a look at my child? Me. I am sorry but I cannot. I cannot take responsibility as I am not a part of the emergency team and neither am I posted here. When my friend in the ED gets better, I shall ask her to take a look. CM. But you helped your friend. Me. Yes, because the team is busy with an accident and since it's my friend, all I did was set an IV so that she will be stable till they can come and check on her. CM. So why can't you help me? I am tired of waiting and my child is uncomfortable. Me. Tired now, lady. I am not an emergency doctor nor am I on duty. I cannot help you or take responsibility should something happen. Please wait for the emergency doctor to be free. Why don't you go to the registration counter? They will ensure someone looks at your child. CM. I cannot leave my child alone. Why can't you take a look at him? Me, sighing. Where is your child now and what is wrong? I cannot give any advice or do anything because I am not a part of the posted emergency team but I can inform them. CM. I need you to look at him, he fell down and is crying? Me. Just wait. Once a emergency doctor comes, I will send them your way. CM, now grabbing my arm. You will see him right now. Friend's hubby, pulling me away and blocking CM. You will leave her alone. She is not a part of the emergency team. Stop harassing her. CM. Help, help, they are assaulting me. A nurse charge, NC, finally ran in asking what is wrong. I knew NC as we are a part of the same Christian prayer group so she asked my side first. I explained about my friend and how CM was forcing me to help her son when I cannot. NC. CM, Op is a doctor but she is not posted nor a part of our emergency team. We needed her to help her friend because we are super busy but that is it. She cannot help you. CM. Stop giving excuses. You just don't want to help me. You, me. Now help me with my son or I will complain. Me, now annoyed, go ahead. I turned away as NC was dealing with CM as the neurologist had arrived and I had to talk with her and friend's hubby. I thought that was it. Wrong. As my friend got better and I was helping another nurse change the IV bag while she gave my friend another dose of anti-epileptic drug, my hand was suddenly pulled, nearly causing me to pull at the IV. CM had grabbed me. Me, now really angry. What the hell? You again? What are you doing? You nearly made me rip off her IV line. CM. This is the doctor who refused to help me. I want her license cancelled. Turns out she had dragged the emergency medical officer, the senior doctor watching over everything, to complain. The M officer blinked as she knew I did not work in the ED unless I was posted there, which I was not. M officer. She does not work here. CM. Yes, she does. She was fixing that woman's IV. M. Officer. She is a part of the hospital but she does not work on the ED. Since she is a doctor, she was just helping her friend, but that is it. She cannot look at your child unless I tell her to. CM. Stop lying. Why are you covering for her? She is the worst. Friend's hubby. M. Officer, take this lady away. My wife is not well and she has been harassing OP too much. OP is already going out of her way to be polite. M. Officer agreed and turned to CM. M. Officer. I saw your child. He is fine. We are swamped today, especially since we had an entire family be admitted here. If you continue to create a ruckus, we will ask you to leave and maybe even ban you. CM. But I did nothing wrong. It's her, me, fault. M. Officer, firmly, you have two options. You either leave them alone or you leave. CM left us along grumbling as I heaved a sigh of relief. My friend had recovered, so we decided to have her discharged and have her checked up in the morning. As we were leaving, we saw CM glare at us and mouth swear words at us, but we ignored her. Friend's hubby apologized, but I told him not to worry as none of it was his fault. Next morning, the story had spread in the whole hospital and my guide told me to be firm and not entertain people who were like CM. It's not very exciting, but it's not the first time I went through this. Since I have friends in the ED, I often go to see them and be treated so badly by patients and their relatives. God, some days I am glad I am in laboratory medicine and not in the ED. The next story is titled M Gets Mad When I Tell Her That She Can't Walk Her Daughter at a Private Property. My 22F cousin, 22F, and her family have a beautiful property. Her mom would babysit me during the summer, so I basically grew up there. There are 3 houses with all of her dad's close family living there, which surrounds a big pond. There is a small boat dock, a tennis court and a pavilion. It's surrounded by forest except for the entrance. It is a totally private property, which means that they have big signs at the front of the entrance that says, "No trespassing." There is also another street sign halfway down the road that says, "No trespassing." Her and her family get really annoyed when random people come walking down their property and just ignore the signs. To get to the property, you have to go down a sorta long road that goes past a few buildings. When you first turn into the road, there is a Wawa. Americans who live in NJ, PA, DA, MD or VA, let me know if you know what that is. It's a deli shop, convenience store that has amazing food and coffee, a small strip mall and an apartment complex. I lived in that complex for about a year, which is when this took place. Sorry about the long description, I just hope that this will give you a good enough picture of the area. Now on to the story. When I moved into that apartment complex, I asked my cousin if I could walk my dog around her property. She of course gave me permission. One day after I was done walking my dog around the pond, I was leaving through the front gates, which again, had the NT signs. I saw this random woman walking with her young daughter down towards the entrance who I have never seen before. I politely asked her if she knew the family who lived there and she said no. I then pointed at the big sign and I said, "Sorry, it says no trespassing." She then gave me an annoyed face and said, "Well, you were just on their property," and I replied, "Yes, I was, and I know the family. I am related to them and they gave me permission to go down there." She said, "Well, my daughter wants to go down there, are you saying that she can't explore?" I replied, "If it means that you are trespassing, then yes, I am saying that you and your daughter can't go exploring there." She finally gave out a big, annoyed huff and turned to her daughter and said, in a very rude tone, "Sorry honey, this lady won't let us go down there," and they finally turned around and started walking back. I felt like it would be awkward if I started to walk behind them back to my apartment, so I turned around and just walked my dog around the pond one more time and then left after that. The next day I was with my cousin and I told her about the entitled mom and she thanked me. She said how annoyed she gets when random people show up. I can relate because I also have a property with "No trespassing" signs, yet people still walk down it. Honestly, it's probably the most ignored street sign in America. The next story is titled I Don't Work There, but someone noticed I gave another shopper a hand. A couple of days ago I was looking for bargains at our local grocery outlet, a US chain which specializes in procuring overstock items, factory seconds, and closeout items from name brand and private label suppliers. I love shopping there, as one never knows what might be available on any given day, and the prices are usually much lower than what the items originally sold for. My concentration was broken though when I heard a thud and the sound of falling merchandise at the end of the aisle I was shopping in. I looked up to see a woman about the same age as me, 76, who had accidentally clipped a display filled with bags of marshmallows with her cart, knocking that cardboard display over and scattering the bags down the aisle. Seeing the shocked look on the woman's face, I just said, "Here, let me help you with that." I stood the display back up and she and I corralled all the escaped bags of puffy goodness and stacked them back up like they had been. It only took us a couple of minutes. When we were done we exchanged, "Have a good day," smiled at each other and went on our respective ways. I didn't think any more of it. I finished shopping and found myself standing at the back of one of the long, busy checkout lines behind several other shoppers with full carts. Suddenly a clerk appeared at my elbow and indicated that I should bring my cart and follow her over to one of the closed registers where she motioned me to unload my cart. Cool, I thought, they are opening up another register. So I went to grab the "This lane is closed" sign to hand it to her, but she said, "No, just leave that there." It was then that the light bulb came on in my brain. They were temporarily opening up a register just for me. This VIP treatment had to be the store's way of thanking me for helping that lady. That was just so cool. It still puts a smile on this old face. The next story is titled "Situational Awareness Just Isn't in Some Folks' Wheelhouse." Today I was waiting to pick up a to-go order in a t-shirt, Daisy Dukes, flip-flops, and sunglasses on top of my head. Clearly not an employee. This lady walked in and said to me, "Table for 4. I smiled and told her, "I don't work here." "Table for 4, she said to me, a little louder. "I do not work here," I said a little louder, gesturing to the podium behind which the employees stand. She looked at me like it was my fault she wasn't being helped and I just ignored her. It annoyed me because here's white, middle-aged proof that there really are people out there who assume others are simply there to serve them. Also, it was a little disturbing that she was so situationally unaware. Like it happens, we all have sleepy, confusing, exhausting days. But if you go to a restaurant where you see the employees' toes you are actually in a strip club. The next story is titled "Guy Unloads His Cart on a Closed Lane and is Confused I'm Not Helping Him." This happened just earlier today. I work multiple jobs, and on my free time from my main job, I deliver for Shipt. Now Shipt has a uniform for their drivers, but they don't require us to wear them. So note, I am wearing a rainbow-striped tank top, blue jean shorts, and flip-flops. I just finished shopping for a customer at Target, and had just processed the order. Target is nice enough to have a stand with lots of bags for Shipt drivers to bag their ordered groceries. In this particular Target, it was a closed register lane. As I'm bagging my order, in a lane with a sign on the conveyor belt that says, "Closed," a guy starts to unload his cart onto the unmoving belt. I look to him with confusion, and he is giving me the same look. I'm wondering why he placed his stuff on a clearly closed belt, and he's wondering why I'm not scanning his stuff. I mean, I get it. I clearly look like a Target employee what with my red shirt, rainbow striped, nice long brown pants, blue jean shorts, and closed-toe work shoes, flip-flops. He then speaks up saying, "Aren't you gonna scan my stuff?" I, confused, say, "Dude, this register is closed and I don't work here." I can see the gears turning in his head as he finally notices the "closed" sign and my clearly not Target outfit. He says nothing as he reloads his cart and goes to an actually open register. I chuckled as I left the store. I mean, I get it. On autopilot, you see a person's presence behind a register and assume that you can go there without actually looking at the details of your surroundings. It was still pretty funny. The next story is titled "Airbnb Karen." So, the house next door to me has been converted into luxury apartments, all of which are let via Airbnb. It's a large 3-story Georgian house. Access is via a key code on the door, which often causes problems for people who have not bothered to read their confirmation emails and assume that a human being will be there to greet them. On more than a few occasions, I've had to explain this to bewildered tourists. They are usually very polite. On one occasion I even gave a weary traveler, just off the plane from South Africa, a hotspot so he could retrieve the code from the app. Yesterday evening I was leaving my house and the second I got out the door I was verbally accosted by a Karen standing outside the house next door, with what I assume was her poor unfortunate husband. She was in her mid-50s, I'd say, and although she wasn't dressed like a typical Karen, she certainly had the demeanor. Finally, she exclaimed, before I'd even closed my door. "Sorry," I said, obviously looking surprised. She sounded American, I'm assuming not Canadian, as everyone knows how polite they are. "We've been waiting here for over an hour. A lie, as I'd only come home 30 minutes earlier. I've been ringing the doorbell and nobody's answering. Oh, I said, you trying to get into the Airbnb, trying to be polite. Well, obviously. I need you to let me in immediately. This is not good enough. I can't do that. You need to enter the code on the keypad, I replied. What code? I don't have time for that, just let me in. I don't have anything to do with the Airbnb, I just live next door to it. You need to enter the code on the keypad. What nonsense, you're just being lazy. Sylvia, her presumed husband, blurts out, acknowledging his existence for the first time, but is quickly shushed by his mistress. Losing my patience, I retorted, look lady, I don't work for the Airbnb. There is nobody there to let you in. You need to get the code they sent you and enter it in the keypad. Bye, and then stared to walk away fast as I see my bus approaching. Get back here, young man. I pay your wages. I'll have you fired for this, was the last thing I heard. As I was regaling my friends with this tale in the pub, I wondered were they still standing there hours later, but when I got home they were nowhere to be seen. I guess I should expect a write-up from my non-existent manager in the morning. The next story is titled Everyone Thought It. So the story starts at 2 p.m. on a Sunday. I'm walking to the bus stop on my way home from my friend's house, having slept on their sofa. I'm a little groggy from the heavy night before. I look up and see a man on a pushbike has stopped and is looking at me. How much? He asks. I stare at him wide-eyed and vigorously shake my head as I realize what's happening. Must be too early, he says with total confidence. It's at this point that I have to consider that I'm on the worst street in the city. Makeup smeared from clubbing the night before, messy hair, the works. I'm wearing my most opulent outfit. A green and pink satin slip dress, a huge fur coat, and hot pink embroidered platform heels. I continue tottering up the road, giggling, thinking to myself, my mates are going to have a field day when I tell them about this. Little do I know that this isn't where the story ends. I reach the bus stop and decide to sit whilst I wait. A man on the adjacent bench turns and smiles at me with the few teeth he has, a look of pity in his eyes. How's your world then, darling? He asks. Good, thanks, I respond. I realize then it's not just the cycling man who got it wrong. I objectively look like I work the streets. I decided then not to correct anyone, as sex work is real work and nothing to be ashamed of, but I still had to hold myself back from having a giggle. I literally work an office job. Amid the strange looks from this guy, I realize people are walking past. I realize they are also thinking I'm a prostitute. I start giggling uncontrollably whenever somebody passes me. I am now, to them, not only a prostitute, but a completely mental prostitute. Fab. Finally the bus comes. Single please, I say. Don't worry, just get on, says the driver, pity in his eyes too. Apparently prostitutes ride free. Perks of the job. The worst part is that I still really like that outfit, and will be wearing it again. I guess I'm sorted if I ever need a side hustle. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel and post some bear emojis in the comments.